This podcast is made by dirty, stupid goblins and their equally horrible guests. They don't believe anything they're saying, and neither should you. It's definitely not for kids, unless their parents are hilariously irresponsible or unbelievably rad, like high on peyote, jumping the dirt bike over the creek, kind of awesome. You know what I'm talking about.
All the freaks by the side of the road, they all say they don't like what they see. All the freaks by the side of the road, they all sit there just staring at me. All the people on the other side, they all stay there just waiting beside. All the freaks by the side of the road, they all smile at me.
Hi, welcome back to Why Don't We Have Our Own Show, the show that answers its own damn question. I am your host, Scott, and I am managing my diabetes.
And I am your also host, Anne, and I'm a local goblin, and I'm keeping way too many secrets from Scott's, what is it called?
It's called a pancreas.
Yeah, see, I can't even think
Wow,
about
you want to start that one over? Or you want to just
My name is Anne, local goblin, and I'm keeping secrets from Scott's pancreas.
want to do that a third time?
No. No, I don't.
Okay.
Mistakes were made.
First things first. We have seen horror. We have seen the mouth of hell open up. We have seen the new Aladdin teaser.
Well, I mean, the world has seen the new Aladdin teaser, so
we've all been exposed now.
it's a pressing concern.
It is a
I'm
pressing concern.
very worried
Disney,
about
are
it.
you okay?
Yeah.
Are you?
Do
Are
we need
you
to talk to a
okay?
grief counselor?
Has your dad started drinking again, Disney? Because it feels like.
Should we call it hostage negotiation team?
Do you require trauma counseling? Disney, what did you do?
What's wrong with you? Are you okay?
Why did you replace your CGI budget with an overclocked PlayStation 3? Why are you still using that pirated copy of Adobe CS3 to do all your special effects work?
Like, why did you go back for the Aladdin game for the SNES, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why did you go back and use all the assets from that?
Yeah,
for
it's-
your new Aladdin movie.
It seems like a bad design choice to make your genie Shrek adjacent. He's like alt universe Shrek. He's like the
He's like the mirror universe.
He's from the evilest timeline because he's got the Van Dyke mustache goatee combo.
And he's the wrong color.
He's like just the Marvel What If series, but like
Like an Elseworld.
like an Elseworld, like a DC Elseworld, but with the what would happen if Shrek had some sort of blood disease. Remember that time that we watched Shrek on Netflix?
Oh, the musical?
The live action
I
musical
like to
version?
pretend like we didn't actually watch. We watched about 15 minutes of it, and that's all we could get through before the horror overwhelmed us.
Something snapped inside of my brain. I remember we just began just cackling insanely and screaming at the screen.
You cackled insanely
Yes.
and screamed at the screen, and I just kind of stared at in abject horror and waited for you to turn it off.
I mean, because like absolutely every person on that stage, you could just see the light leaving their eyes
I
as
went
they.
to Juilliard for this.
I have $100,000 in student loan debt from Juilliard.
Are you proud of me now, Dad?
Who's wasting their life now, Mom? Who's wasting their life?
Not me, Mom. We got completely off track on that one. What were we talking about again?
We were talking about Aladdin. We were talking about the genie. Now,
Yeah.
like everything is wrong with the teaser trailer.
Mm-hmm.
This is supposed to be the thing that's supposed to entice you to see the
And
movie.
it does not entice me to see that.
There's no
movie.
dynamic camera work. There's no
I
interesting
will
angles.
say- I
It's
will
flat
say-
lit.
I have turned around on the kid who plays Aladdin. He's actually the only good thing about that trailer.
But no, we didn't see him say a. We didn't.
We
hear
didn't see him say a word, but
He-
he was still the best thing about that trailer, Scott.
Well, yes, except for the makeup sponged on 5 o'clock shadow.
I will live with
picturesque
that. I
scruff.
will live with the picturesque scruff. In comparison to everything else in the trailer, I will live with it. He was an angel.
We didn't hear him say anything. I'm
I don't
guessing
need
that they're
him to
scared.
say anything. Everything else said all I need to say.
Look, the name Aladdin is literally the
but
title.
he was the only good thing in there. Let me have this one thing.
I would love to. I would love to have it as well, but I don't know why they wouldn't let him talk. That makes no sense to me. They let Jafar talk, and can we talk about that?
Yeah,
because
he sounds like the meanest Starbucks barista. He's like the assistant manager at your Starbucks, and he's the one that you don't want to talk to when you have a problem,
Right.
Because he is just.
he sounds like he's got some issues with your hazelnut latte.
Yeah, he is just snippy and passive aggressive and not fun to deal with.
Because I mean, Tony J is really difficult to replace. I get that. They're going with a person of color. They're going with an actual individual from that region.
Yeah, I mean, I will give them that.
I will give them
and
that.
that's a low bar, if we're being honest
But
here, that
could
they
you
actually hired people from the region where they were making the story, at least for actors in the actual movie. Obviously, they didn't hire anybody of Mediterranean descent or of Arabic descent in the writing.
But could they have found somebody with a deeper voice than mine? Because I'm sorry, I don't sound like the evil vizier. I sound like a Polish tax accountant, and he sounds like Asif Manvi. He sounds like Admiral Zhao from the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender. And that never.
Who had a lot to say about the secret library.
He had a ton to say about yeah, like he broke off pursuit of the Avatar and floated back to the Fire Nation just so that he could tell the Fire Lord, I found the secret library.
And
yeah, we know.
Exactly.
That was
Nobody
like
gives a shit.
That was like last year, Admiral. What are you doing now? You were in hot pursuit. What are you doing now? Where are we going with this again? Aladdin. Jesus Christ. The moment that dumb, swirling Twister 1996 CG tornado comes out of the lamp, I feel like a piece of my heart flaked off and died.
And like, I understand that Robin Williams' shoes are going to be very big to fill for anybody who's playing that part. And I don't expect anybody to be able to replicate that particular performance.
No,
that
but
would
I
be
want
insane.
to. No, I wouldn't. You wouldn't want to because
And I
it's
think that-
specific.
And I think that Will Smith is a funny dude, and I think that, given the right material, he would do a really great job. But in this particular instance, and maybe it's not so much his performance.
It's a 1 minute teaser. We get that.
Yeah.
But
Or if it's like the CGI, I don't know. I don't think it's the performance. I just think it's the nightmare CGI that really just turn my stomach.
again, we're talking about a teaser. We're talking about a thing that's supposed to get people into the theater. And what did you see? What did you hear? You heard him go, "What? You ain't ever heard of me?"
He's a very smooth genie.
He's got a smooth genie voice, but that's the line you went with. That's the line you went with. You went with, "What? You ain't ever heard of me?" And the crickets, and then the fucking title pops up. Like, this is the thing.
That's
Who
not
knew?
the most concerning thing about the genie's
everything about
thing.
it is bad.
I mean, that's not ideal.
The-
That's not an ideal pick for, an opening riff for a teaser trailer.
The Toy Story 1 style CG animation was upsetting. That was tragic.
I think that Jonan Vasquez on Twitter, Jonan, the creator of Invader Zim, for those who don't know.
Filler Bunny and Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
Yes, he had, I think, the best flex on this on Twitter, where he said the genie in this looks like one of those fruit gushers kids was unable to reverse the fruit curse that turned them into fruit-based monsters. And I think that's like a paraphrase, but I think that's perhaps the best take on what the genie looks like and how deeply
unsettling.
Grossly unsettling he is.
Everything about this trailer, everything about it seems wrong. Who knew that the director of Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels would not be able to make a swooping, camera-heavy fantasy sort of? I mean, he's used to putting a tripod in front of a bunch of marble mouth Cockney gits and then telling them to just act tough for 45 minutes. There's nothing in this teaser that makes me, we dragged on the Lion King teaser.
I'm legitimately excited about the Lion King, even though I dragged on it. I'm excited to hear Donald Glover's take on Simba. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fantastic. And even though I shit on it a little bit for not being live action, it is, I'm legitimately excited about seeing that. Even though I'm still kind of like, do we really need? But you know what? I don't care because it's the Lion King and I love the Lion King. But with Aladdin, I'm just like, do we really need this and Beauty and the Beast? Like, we didn't need Beauty and the Beast.
And Dumbo. Don't forget Dumbo's coming out too.
Dumbo is, have you seen anything from Dumbo?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dumbo looks like he's asking for peeled skin as his, like, for sacrifice. Come see Dumbo. Peel your skin for me, human child.
I'm Dumbo and I have come for your soul.
If Dumbo was simply coming for souls, more power to him. But Dumbo isn't just coming for souls.
He seems like he wants to take a vegetable grater, like a potato peeler, and start flaying your flesh off one slice at a time and eating it.
Dumbo is like the freaking Cenobites and Hellraiser.
We
Dumbo
have such sights to show you.
Exactly. Dumbo has come to turn this world into a Cronenberg Scott. Dumbo has come for all of us. No one will be saved.
We have seen some terrible, terrible movies in our time. We have seen some just wretched, awful movies. And I'm not even talking about the oeuvre of Neil Breen. I'm not talking about, everybody's like, haha, have you seen Manos, The Hands of Fate? Yes, I have seen Manos.
You actually have watched it multiple times for reasons that I still don't understand.
Well, the riff tracks is really good for that.
You've watched it without the riff tracks,
No,
though.
no. I have watched the Star Wars Holiday Special without a riff tracks.
As if that's better.
We've seen Shattered Dead.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
I don't want to talk about Shattered Dead.
A little bit about Shattered Dead.
God,
Shattered Dead is a movie made by some I would say coked out lunatic. And I'm saying this, and he's probably in Congress by this point in his career. I mean, he's not making movies anymore.
He's from Canada, isn't he?
No, New York, upstate New York.
Really?
I think.
Okay.
I think. I mean, it's got that sound that to their voices, and I think I did a little bit of research. Okay, so his name is Scooter McCrae, and he made the worst goddamn film
Scooter
I have ever.
His actual name, like his
yes. It's the only thing that he's.
Name,
it's the only thing that he's credited
name
on IMDb. Scooter McCrae, and he made a movie that is so terrible that when I tried to take it to FYE, they wouldn't take it. The guy slid it back across the counter and goes,
don't want this.
No. I mean, he had that dead look in his eye. No. He just said no. And then I think he might have just walked out into the parking lot and kept walking until his feet fell off. We don't
know what happened to him. We just watched him walk into the weeds.
He just began wading into the creek and never came back. It's a movie that is so, I think, inept and tone deaf. It's that the best way to describe it is its menu screen is an unskippable 45-second cutscene of their shovel-faced protagonist walking down the street, and you can't skip it. Every single time you change menu screens, it is an uninterrupted, unskippable 45 seconds of just this chihuahua-eyed, milky, weird cadaver. It's okay. I don't even know if I can.
I'm just letting you struggle. I'm just sitting back here letting you struggle trying to describe this because it's like,
It
oh.
has sex scenes in it, and I understand why Hollywood pays the actors and actresses that it pays
We're not
the
gonna
big
we're not
money.
gonna dive deep in what it looks like, but it was horrible.
It was horrific.
It was the worst.
Do not seek this movie out. It's made by this company called Sub Rosa, and I
You're
think
giving them all the information.
Oh,
This is like,
Lord.
what is it? Like, there's that one there's that one like play or whatever. There was a thing about it where like
the
you
King
watch-
in Yellow.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't
Yeah, yeah.
remember the name of it.
Yeah,
it's
and,
like the King in Yellow. You're gonna have them go on this quest and they're gonna find it. and
Oh
they're
no,
just
I'm
gonna-
definitely not going to look for or the John Carpenter version of the King in Yellow, the End of the World. You remember that one where the
Yeah.
college film students sawed off the angel's wings and like. Oh yeah, we watched it. It was the Masters of Horror
Is that
series.
the one about the movie that
The movie
can
that
watch?
nobody can watch without it driving them
Who
insane.
Who did it star? I don't remember. It starred somebody who was fairly-
Norman Reedus. Back when we didn't think that Norman Reedus was a good actor because all we'd seen him in is Blade 2,
Yep.
and he
And we
drove
wanted
us
to strangle
pants
him.
shitting insane.
Oh yeah, I just
wanted to drive
beat him.
him.
With
I just
my
wanted
boots.
just wanted
Cave
to
his head in.
just stove it in
He
with a
was
hammer and do
so
dumb.
fucking obnoxious in that movie, and I get that that's what his character.
Yeah, and then he
But,
gets
like,
the comeuppance of being the bad guy, the
Yeah,
heel.
I get it. Like that's he's a bad guy. He's a heel. You're supposed to be kind of low key annoyed by him, but at the same time, why did you have to be so annoying?
He was like the doper version of Shaggy, but Shaggy's already the doper version of Shaggy.
Yeah, like Shaggy already has a Shaggy, so we don't need another Shaggy.
And Shaggy is all powerful, and this was like Shaggy Light. This was like the Rent-A-Center Shaggy.
You're saying Shaggy too much, and now it's starting to mean nothing.
Okay, hey, do you want to answer a Yahoo question answer?
Oh, yeah, question, answer,
Okay.
question. Yes.
Okay,
I
so
do.
this is from I don't know because they don't believe that they have okay, so this is just from question mark.
Anon.
Is it normal for a girlfriend to worry about her boyfriend seeing nudity or sex in movies? Question mark. Okay, so I am in a long-distance relationship, and it worries me when my boyfriend sees movies with sex or nudity in it because he can tend to get a little upset about seeing it. And like sometimes he sees movies with sex or nudity in them with his friends sometimes, and it really worries me. I mean, is that normal? I really need help. So, Anne, is it normal for a girlfriend to worry about her boyfriend seeing nudity or sex in movies?
I mean, the short answer is no.
All right, well, moving on. No,
Like
That's
I'm
the-
not really
that's
sure
the
what she's
dumbest-
asking with this. Like I could understand if it was like I'm worried about my my boyfriend's consumption of porn or whatever, yada
Right.
yada yada.
Or but I'm
But-
worried that my boyfriend is seeing the nudity in the movie theater, but not on the
or
screen
like, are you
because
worried
he's
that like he's some sort of like marshmallow boy and gets upset by sex scenes and perhaps needs to be rocked in her loving arms because he has a panic attack every time a sex scene happens. That's what I get from it.
I mean, is
she like worried about her android boyfriend?
well, I mean,
That's
it could
the only
be.
logical response I can is that she made some sort of android boyfriend, and he
Hey.
doesn't know how humans work. And
Hal is a sweet boy, and he sings good.
Hal is a little bastard, and everybody knows it. Hal's a little bitch.
Well, I don't even know how yeah, you're right. I don't know how to answer this question because it's like I don't
There are
want to.
There are too many
variables.
questions. Not the variables. There's just too many. The question
really
brings
does
up
open up.
more questions. Like, why does your boyfriend get upset in nude scenes?
And does he? I mean, oh God. I can't believe that I picked this one. So
As it's your own fault. You're hoisted by your own
Hoisted by-
petard on that one.
But, yeah, that's right. It's what do you mean by upset? Because I mean,
Yeah.
I think unless that you were raised like you were homeschooled, this kid feels like a homeschool kid. Like he feels like because. All right, I'm an actor. I've been in movies. I've been in like college films. I've done enough college films and worked with enough college like filmmakers to know that all right, there's a sliding scale. There's of capacity to not only like handle that kind of material, but also to like create it. Like I'm no names whatsoever, but I saw one where it was the 7 deadly sins I was like. This has got to be the horror film made by a homeschool kid, because it was the dumbest.
What are we talking about?
Because okay, so all the 7 deadly sins were just in black unitards. They kind of look like Cesare from the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
What are you talking
But like in a rent-a-center. I'm talking about homeschool kids, because maybe this kid's homeschooled. Maybe he's never seen a ding dong. Maybe he's never seen
Not even his own. He
Not
wears
even
a
his own.
blindfold to pee.
Right. Yes. I mean, who could say he probably turns off all the lights and closes the light blocking curtains and then pisses in the dark and then hopes for he prays to his Lord and Savior Jesus the Christ in order to aim properly.
Oh God.
And he fails. He fails a lot, but his mom's okay with it.
She has to be. She taught him.
Also by handling his ding dongs with salad tongs.
Oh my God.
This is a person who's in a very unhealthy relationship.
To me, what this reeks of is they were watching Titanic, and it got to the bits with Kate Winslet's boobies, and she has beautiful titties.
Oh, she had wonderful fun pegs.
Beautiful titties.
Yes.
And he got a boner, and she was offended by it, and he's
like, "Oh, go girl! I'm filled with rage,
so upset about the nude scene.
I'm all crazed,
accidental boner. I'm sorry, I love you, baby.
I'm all sex crazed and weirded out."
Quite frankly, like if you're that worried about your boyfriend,
right,
getting turned on
or
by
upset,
the quite frankly tame nude scenes in most Hollywood movies, even in your less mainstream movies.
I mean, it's not like I don't think
it's so incredibly tame. I mean,
Right.
like in comparison to like actual porn, it's incredibly mild. So like if you're upset about that, like dude, you need to get first of all, you need to get out of the house.
you need to crawl out from underneath your mom's skirt.
And secondly,
really
it's not that big a deal, man.
Right, man. I mean, everybody's got them. Everybody's got something underneath their clothes. It's all like
I was never worried about when we first were going out. I didn't give a crap about it. I don't care if you get a boner when you watched Kate Winslet.
Wait, you were really obsessed with just
really nice
it's the
titties,
only
though.
boobs in Hollywood. They were
It's
really
the only boobs in Hollywood, and she's my favorite boobs.
You had favorite boobs?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Ah.
Who doesn't have favorite boobs?
Well, okay. Well, who are your
Kate Winslet has, bar none, the best Hollywood boobs.
still to this day?
Always.
Nobody has beaten that out. No
No one.
comparison.
No.
Okay.
Think about Gwyneth Paltrow's boobs. They were the worst.
Don't want to.
They were the worst, though. You saw them in Shakespeare in Love, and they were the worst.
God, that's right. They were.
They look like
I
egg
did see
yolks.
them. Oh, yeah. They look like 2 fried eggs nailed to a tree.
It's not
And that was
cute.
that was a tree that you would chop down and throw into the fireplace.
You know, maybe it's just me, but I just need boobs with some heft. That's all I'm asking for.
This went weird.
Well,
This went really strange. I mean, it's not like, okay, is your boyfriend watching 9 songs with unsimulated sex? Are we talking about like blurring the line between quote unquote art movies and just straight pornography?
Yeah.
Or
are you talking about like, are we watching a movie with Linnea Quigley in it? You know,
which, hey, I mean, talking about great looking breasts.
No,
I
she
mean,
doesn't have
Return of the
great-looking
Living
breasts.
Dead.
Well, in Return of the Living Dead, she does.
Right.
But
Well,
as time goes on,
what about Night of the Demon? Or Demons?
God, do you remember what they look like in Night of the Demons?
Well, yeah, when she pushed a tube of lipstick into one of her nipples. I mean, they were fake.
Yeah,
Don't tell me they weren't fake.
They're super fake. That's my problem with them is if you actually look at her boobs in Night of the Demons, there's like kind of weird dimpling around them that shows that it was not an ideal boob job. And it kind of ruins the symmetry for me. Like, that's just like, the veil has been lifted. I know your boobs are fake now, and I can't take that back.
And yeah, speaking of fried eggs nailed to a tree, Shattered Dead has some of the most ungainly. Maybe this kid's watching Shattered Dead. Who can say?
Which, if this kid is watching Shattered Dead, you got more problems than just watching boobies and movies.
I can understand being upset by that. If you're watching Shattered Dead, again, guys, don't look it up. Look, just we've seen it. We've seen the horror.
Don't take this as a challenge. Don't say, "Oh yeah, they're just like." This is not a bit when we're saying, "Don't go and watch that movie."
Don't go looking for it.
Don't go look for that movie. That's a terrible movie.
I have turned on the machine. I have seen the creatures that swim in the dimension beyond the veil of our reality, and they saw me back. Okay,
Yeah, the
don't
void
do
looked
it
directly into his soul.
I've done it. I've done it for you. I did it so that you didn't have to. It's not worth
He took me
looking
along for the ride.
several times because I really just needed to make sure that I wasn't just staring at static and
Do you
cackling.
remember that sort of like fat Busey? I mean, he was an actual Busey, but he kind of like was like sort of like fat Jake Busey.
Wait, which one? What in Shattered?
In Shattered, yeah.
Oh my
Jake,
God, no.
Jake Busey, he was the he
wait.
was in the doctor portion of it. He was like the crazy doctor dude.
Crazy Doctor. Wait, no, the guy who looked like the Walmart brand Howard Stern.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay, but no, he had the long like curly hair. He had the
No,
was
it was the
wearing
blonde guy. The blonde guy.
Oh God, no.
The blonde guy, and he had like he had like the
Fat Busey.
Yes, he was fat Busey, and he had one like crazy contact in one eye.
I don't even remember that.
I do. I remember that vividly.
Look, I remember that a woman taped a gun to a man's wiener and
did things with it. We're not going to go any farther there because while this is not a children's show, we're not going there. But the fact of the matter is that she did things with guns that are inadvisable.
Inadvisable. I mean, I'm fairly certain that it defeats the warranty. That you can't take that back for a refund.
Completely voids the warranty.
I mean, you are
Smith and Wesson will not take
that back. They're going to smell that one in the car. You don't even have to take it out of the gun locker. They're going to be like, no. No, you don't. No, you do not.
I also remember from that movie there were just interminable scenes of her just walking down. Yeah, they were like
with groceries.
So many scenes of her just walking down like a road, and it's just like.
Do you remember the preacher scene underneath the tree where the camera never cut away from him to show the large crowds of people?
It was clearly meant to be large,
like he was preaching underneath the tree with like torches. And they were trying so hard, but they never cut away from him, and they just kept sliding the volume slider up and down on the crowd noise.
5 people.
Yeah, and then a crowd of like 5,000 on their library sounds of like of like a circus or a sporting event. Like you could almost hear the crack of the baseball bat, and as everybody cheered and whooped and yelled tigers.
I don't really remember the actual plot of Shattered Dead. It was something about zombies.
The movie couldn't handle a plot. It was not a plot. It was a meandering series of vignettes that led towards an unsatisfying climax.
It was like a movie full of scenes.
Involving a ding-dong.
Like where sometimes stuff happens, but most of the time, nothing happens.
Nothing happens for long stretches of filler material.
And your protagonist is so devoid of charisma and character that like literally watching a rock on the side of the road would be more interesting than watching this woman just wander sleepily through every scene.
Including scenes where she had dialogue with people. Remember the college-age, quote-unquote, old woman who was very obviously wearing talcum powder in her hair to make her look old. Like that's the closest that you could get. It was on a promise of a bag of Doritos and some extra blow. Was this 20-something that they kept calling her old woman, and I'm just like, are they referring to somebody off camera that I can't see? Because what I'm looking at is
she old because she's 28 instead of 22. Is that your conception at this point?
Because again, I've been in these kinds of movies. I understand the limitations. I once had an audition sheet put in front of me. I didn't audition for it, but it said the character that I could audition for that was in my age range was 30 to 50 in a retirement home, insane with senility. 30 to 50. And okay, I'm going to wait for you to stop laughing so that I can say pointedly, F you. You. The 3 of us in here, in this room right now, would all have fit the criteria of what they think a retirement community denizen is.
Yeah.
F you.
Yeah.
So, where were we going with this?
I don't remember.
So
we wandered off the beaten path.
Some horrible shit, and no, it's not normal. I don't want to say that you're abnormal, but look, relax. Your boyfriend's gonna see some tits in his life, in a movie. If he's
you're gonna see some stuff. If you're very lucky, maybe you'll get Do you see a movie where they
you'll
have a
see-
dick in it?
with
I
it-
mean, it can happen.
Right.
It happens on occasion.
It happens on occasion, and when it does, I mean, if
It's-
you're
when
watching
it does,
HBO,
it's glorious
It's a
and
glorious thing. Bow down, worship the hog. Go to some live theater. Go to theater in London. When I was in London, this is like 1993. When I was in London, every play that I saw had nudity in it, except for Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap.
That would be a different Mousetrap.
Well, that would be a very different mouse.
I want to see the
I want to see the mousetrap
with
where
nudity.
he gets his hog just a little too close to that spring trap.
I want to see that version, the all nude version of the Mousetrap.
But because it was part of just the actor's toolkit. It was part of the live actor's toolkit. I mean, it was professional theater, so they were getting paid, and they took their clothes off willy nilly because it wasn't any big damn deal. We make too much of a big damn deal here in the States. We make so much of a prudish,
and
Puritan.
on the verge of sounding like I'm giving this person advice. When you're in a relationship with somebody, you kind of have to like release a little bit of control because they're their own person.
They're your
man.
significant other, not your fucking pet.
Yeah. So I mean, they're not your pet. You can't like hit them with a newspaper and say, "No, you will not look at Kate Winslet's titties." You can't do that.
You can't put lemon juice and water in a spray bottle and spritzing on them every single time they see a bare naked butt cheek.
Yeah.
It's just not right to do. Grow up, relax. That's what. Relax.
You can't beat your boyfriend every time he watches Game of Thrones and sees like nude people doing it because you're gonna be beating him every other day.
You're gonna get some very strong arms, and you're clearly not using them for anything important.
Wow.
I'm just saying. I mean, if you're gonna use the rolled up newspaper, you're gonna generate some grip strength, and you're clearly not, using it. If you're fucking worried about your boyfriend seeing a merkin or a butthole,
Well, I don't think they show buttholes in Hollywood movies. I'm sorry to say. I don't think I've ever seen a butthole. I've seen a butt.
I've seen
butts.
butts. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. But all right.
Scott's watching some very different things than the rest of us.
Okay, and does the nudity aspect of it does it also count for like dogs? Because dogs have butts.
Yeah, dogs are naked all the
Dogs
time.
are naked
in every
all the
movie
time.
you've ever
Are you
seen, a dog is naked.
If your boyfriend is flying into some sort of a puritanical rage because all the horses aren't wearing underwear.
Yeah, all the dogs aren't wearing pants. If you've seen Incredible Journey, whether it's the one from the 60s or the one from the 90s, you've seen a bunch of naked dogs and cats. So you just really need to live with that.
Are you throwing yourself at the TV in some sort of a high-handed rage? What the fuck? What are you doing? What are you doing with your life? This is the dumbest thing I've ever
Mr. Ed
heard.
is naked. Someone put pants on Mr. Ed. Filthy pervert.
You're gross, Carl. You're gross.
You're
looking
gross.
You're looking at a donkey's
You're
butt.
disgusting. You're looking at the
gross.
donkey's butt. Why are you looking at Flipper like
Shrek
that?
had pants. Where was Donkey's pants? That's all I'm saying.
That is true.
I have had a week. It's been a strange one. You watched a Netflix documentary, or not a documentary.
Well, I actually did watch a couple Netflix documentaries, and then I also watched a docudrama on Netflix right now. It's part of an actual series, American Crime Story. The first was The People versus O.J. Simpson, which I thought was in general pretty well done. There were a few liberties taken, but it wasn't that bad. They actually did a really, really great job. So their second season is the assassination of Gianni Versace, which continues to be, I think, a really excellent addition. Though I do think, in terms of the actual historical nature of it, takes a lot of liberties. Especially,
they condensed some time,
yeah, with a couple of, with some characters. Gianni Versace himself in the docudrama, The Assassination of Gianni Versace, they have Versace going to a clinic and finding out he's HIV positive. The fact of the matter is we never actually had any kind of confirmation. There were never even any really rumors about it. So that was a bit of speculation that I found to be a little on the edge of being, I don't know what the word would be.
I mean, there was just some storytelling liberties.
Yeah,
I mean, they have
like some liberties.
They have to make it, interesting.
With one of the other victims of this particular crime that they were covering was also, God, what is his name? David Miglin. He would. They also kind of speculated that he might have been bisexual and that he might have actually have been a client of Andrew Cunanan, the person who killed Versace, as well as Mr. Miglin. And that's another one where it's like it's a little, the information on it is a little sketchy. It's a little squiffy. But I think overall they did a really, really great job of story building and character building. And I think in particular, I mean, obviously you do have to have some focus on the person who killed Gianni Versace, which was Andrew Cunanan. So obviously you have to pay some attention to the person who did it. But I think in this particular show, they did it in an interesting way where they also really gave you a lot of time with all of his victims as well. So it wasn't, just all this focus on this person who did, like, murdered 5 people and did this really, really horrible thing. But you also get a glimpse into the lives of the people he hurt.
Because that's the problem when you're dealing with docuseries and edutainment series or just like biopics, is that they tend to focus on the most dynamic and quote unquote interesting one, which seems to be
they definitely do that in this, but I think they also pay appropriate attention to the people who were most hurt by this, and in particular Mrs. Miglin, who was the widow. So you see her struggle with the death of her husband and how it affected her, which I think is such a rarity in shows of this type. Because around the same time where I watched this, I also watched the Ted Bundy tapes, which is a very good documentary. I will say that they did a very, very good job from just a pure
information
perspective, just from the art of documentary, from a filmmaking perspective. They did a really, really great job. But my problem with the Ted Bundy tapes is my problem with a lot of documentary stuff and a lot of biopics about this stuff, that they focus too intently on the person who did these murders and the person who did all of these awful things, without really focusing on the people that he hurt, not just the victims, but the victims' families. And especially with Ted Bundy, they build this whole sort of
I'm so fucking sick of people calling him a genius, of calling him mysterious or exotic, or he was a clod and a sociopath. And
while to a certain extent there were some people on there who kind of challenged that, I don't think that it was challenged enough to my taste. Ted Bundy he wasn't a genius.
He wasn't
the perfect serial killer.
He was terrible. The perfect serial killer doesn't get caught, for one thing. He made gross errors. He made mistakes. Not to say that I wanted him to do better.
But I want him to do better.
Do better,
You
Ted
got
Bundy.
An F, Ted Bundy. You need to do
come
better.
On, man. You got learn from your mistakes. You moron.
But he wasn't some sort of genius who got away with everything. You're dealing with a time that is much different from the way things are now. DNA technology, I don't even think it was even nascent at that point.
No, it was blood type. That's what they used. They did have typing.
They did have nascent internet technology, but that was in very small circles of IT professionals or in the military, places like that. DOD. So that wasn't available to the wider world. That wasn't available to police, different police stations and stuff. That wasn't available to law enforcement. So if you have a bunch of killings happening in Seattle, that's going to be, they're not going to have a national database. There wasn't a national database at that point. There wasn't any way for them to go ahead and collaborate with other law enforcement officials to go ahead and come together on it.
And the upshot is, stop glorifying these fucking animals. Stop glorifying. I don't want to know the name of the Parkland shooter. I don't want to know their name.
Ted Bundy isn't clever. He is about as clever as a man-eating jaguar. That's the level of cleverness that he has, and that's not very clever. Because let me tell you, I've read books about man-eating jaguars.
You are obsessed with man-eating jaguars.
With man-eating,
man-eating
tigers
big
as
cats,
well. Big
like
cats
the
in
lions
general.
of Tsavo.
Yeah, lions of Tsavo.
We saw them in Chicago. That was so cool.
Okay.
Sorry.
That was.
I thought we could deviate to
talk about man-eaters.
No,
but the man-eaters.
So I came home one day. This is the whole reason I was and I was like, hey, are you still watching a murder of My brain like blipped, and I didn't remember the first name of Versace.
Yeah, so
and I just
completely-
called him Andrew Versace because I was like, it was the first thing that came to mind. And so
And I just watched it, so I'm like, excuse me. I thought you were being sarcastic because, like, the name of the murderer was Andrew Cunanan, and so I'm like, excuse me.
I don't know his name. You were like taking like great offense, and I was like, fine, Bill. I don't care, Bill. Did you have the murder of the assassination of Bill Versace? And I realized Gianni Versace couldn't have been nothing but a fashion designer because if his name was Bill, he would have owned a deli.
Exactly. And then, of course, we got deep in the weeds with it because the idea of Bill Versace, deli owner in Brooklyn.
I don't know
People
anybody named Gianni.
asking about like how's like thinking that he's related to the fashion designer, but he's not related.
I've got a cousin named Johnny. He delivers the cold cuts.
He's doing pretty great. He's got the diabetes and some corns on his feet, but other than that, he's fantastic.
He's fine. I mean, he's pulling down 1925 before taxes. I could only hope to do so good, huh? Ja.
I just can't stop thinking about Bill Versace.
So yeah, the whole week I just can't.
The whole week is just we're thinking about Bill
I
Versace.
still can't stop thinking about Bill Versace. I still actually can't stop thinking about Resident Evil 2.
Oh God.
Not the one, not the movie, the video game that just came out. Because we were big fans of the original back in 1998.
God, that was so long
which we were
ago.
still in college when that came out, and it was
Revolutionary for its time.
yeah.
Like you go back and look at it
Pants-shitting
now,
terror.
you're like, oh wow, what?
Yeah, but it also had the sort of inglorious thing because the first game was very tightly controlled.
Yeah, it had very tightly like the angles were very very fixed.
Yeah. So I mean, say the same thing with it,
Which
with 2.
Obviously, nowadays we have the technology where it doesn't have to be quite as fixed,
fully 3-dimensional, but
which also like has its sins.
But what I was getting at is that Resident Evil 2 started the trend towards like making them more action oriented because by Resident Evil 3 Nemesis you had a full kind of open world. It was still the fixed cameras, but you were starting to be able to gun monsters down and stuff and like shooting machine guns and things, and it was no longer about being trapped in a place and being perpetually scared for your life. So
And it was no longer there was I think with Resident Evil 2 it also like you had to have strategy. I'm not saying that you didn't, but you didn't have to be as careful as you did, like say in Silent Hill.
right. Well,
I
yeah,
think Silent
every shot
Hill,
counted.
like every shot counted. You had to be really super careful. You had to find ways out of situations that would not require you to actually enter in combat.
Right, because you were not good at combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas with Resident Evil 2, like, yeah, you did have to, keep a strategy. You did have to save your bullets.
you could juke around the demons.
And there were a lot of sections where it would be more advisable to go ahead and juke around the zombies or whatever. But like to a certain extent, there was also like a little bit more of like, okay, you really actually have to face this and shoot this.
Yeah,
Demon.
I mean, the tyrant, the Mr. X, he was an opportunity for you to unload a bit of that like pent up stress because you had to gun him down. You had to take him down because there was no way around him.
Yeah, because he was an immovable object.
Yeah, and so, but I finished playing the first scenario and into the second, and there was a moment in the new version of it. For those of you who don't know, when you play the game, you can start. You have 2 heroes that you can select from, and then you play the game through with that one hero, and then you play through the game again with the second hero, and there are different story elements and different beats that you take, and you face off against like different stuff. And at a certain point, I put the controller down and realized I didn't want to play it anymore. I was like,
In large part due to the AI of the tyrant.
yeah,
which-
the Mr. X, the AI is so good. He follows the sound of you running, and he definitely follows the sound of you shooting.
Yeah.
So if you are in a
which
hallway,
is different from the original where
Right.
it was scripted.
yeah. So if you're in a hallway and you just want to get past these ding dang lickers, which are these larger, you
He's ding dang.
wow, you child, you are you cackling over the name of the monster or the way that I said?
Yeah, I want to get past these ding dang lickers.
I just want to get past these ding dang.
past these ding dang lickers. There's so many
Consorted, I
lickers.
just want to get past these ding dang lickers.
Aw, beans.
But if you fired on him, that motherfucker's gonna show up fast within 30 seconds of your
30
opening.
minutes or less.
30
Otherwise, he
seconds
gets
or
penalized.
less.
That was one of the weird additions to it, where like the tyrant was like really mad about not showing up on time.
Oh yeah, he would get really mad and vituperate himself.
Yeah, I know. He would just like for like 20 minutes just berate himself about being late.
There were a lot of things
about how his assistant manager is going to be really like
really pissed.
Yeah, he's going to be so pissed at me, man.
Just could you write down on my sheet that I did a good job?
Yeah, there was some really strange choices that they made. Like the fact that when he showed up, the first thing that he did was want to witness to the coming of his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That felt strange because I thought that he was just going to punch my face off. He was going to.
But then he kept like referencing Zeno, and so I got really confused.
I was
I
was very stranged out by that.
What kind of weird amalgamation religion are you dealing with right here?
Right. I mean, then he whip out a Book of the Mormon and pursue you.
Where are you going with this?
Where are you going with this? When he showed up in the main lobby of the resident Raccoon City Police Department and began to praise Jesus to a chorus of gospel singers.
I thought it was a really weird choice.
It was bizarre. It was bizarre too.
It really kind of threw off the tone.
Right. It was bizarre. I thought that they decided that instead of these slobbering cannibalistic moans of the undead, that all of the zombies would sing the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
I mean, I was impressed by their ability to harmonize. Of all, especially while moaning. Mm-hmm. Like it was beautiful and horrible at the same time. It was
haunting. It made traveling through the police department.
And there was like a random mandolin player that you didn't hear at the time.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you ran into Mandolin Zombie later, but
you could see him. But then you had and I wept a little bit when I shot the Mandolin Zombie because I thought that he had been
a beautiful version of Hotel
counterpoint.
California. I have to tell you.
And I hate the Eagles.
I hate the Eagles, but it was a beautiful cover. Give it up for Mandolin Zombie.
Give it up for Mandolin Zombie right here, right now.
Also, like when you finally destroyed like a liquor, the way that it would just explode like a confetti cannon with like literal confetti. It was a confetti cannon.
Well, I mean,
it was festive, but really, really strange.
It was because I mean, in the original game, they looked like skinned dogs. They looked like you turned a person inside out and then put all of his bones on the outside too.
Yeah.
But and the redesign of making them look like festive piñatas did not, I think, strike the right tone.
No.
But it helped that the Mr. X Tyrant was in a sombrero.
But they were much more pleasant to look at, if I'm being honest. Because, I mean, the original liquors were a nightmare. And this was actually, you kind of felt a little bit bad when you cacked one.
I mean, hey, man, look, dude, when you got to hit them with a stick and get their delicious candy insides, you're going to hit them with a stick. I needed that for energy.
And then just watching Leon and Claire just grubbing on the ground like a small child, just stuffing chocolate into their mouths. That was a weird flex, but I liked it.
I liked it. I thought that part of it, but at the same time, I did miss the classic monster designs. I did. I mean, the William Birkin monster was so interesting, and then replacing him with noted film director David Yates.
Yeah, director of the Harry Potter franchise. The later Harry Potter films.
And instead of pursuing you?
Yeah, they didn't really pursue you. He just sort of followed you around. And instead of mooning like some sort of monster, he just yammered on and on about Harry Potter for like infinitely.
I think that they basically took the audio from his commentary track and stuck it into this incessant droning loop.
Except for the weird odd moments where it was clearly like somebody who was trying to sound like David Yates and not really succeeding, talking about like Dumbledore wouldn't really like that.
Oh yeah. When you cack a zombie, when you blow it, when you pop a head off like a grape, you go, "Ooh, I don't think that'll go well at Hogwarts." That was not a good accent.
No, that was a horrible accent, and you actually know how to do accents. Like, if that was me, that was like, wow, that idiot did a pretty good job for a ding-dong. For someone who can actually literally do accents, and you're like, wah.
So I'm going to call my mom right now because I really want to know what time I was born, because we're going to be doing a new bit today.
And a new bit that I conceived of. It's called Let Me Do Your Scopes. And the idea is I know next to nothing about horoscopes. I know all about horoscopes. And then I thought, it would be fun if I just tried to actually do a natal chart, knowing absolutely nothing about it. I actually had a friend who sent me her horoscope information, and I just started to go off. And I thought it was pretty funny. I don't know if it's actually funny, but
well, hey, we'll find out.
I mean, all we're doing now is listening to you.
Oh, for dang it, Mom!
Yeah, so we were going to try to do
that's going to fail.
That's going to fail. There's a bit failed right there.
That's going to get edited.
Keep the fail in.
Keep the that's. I have
Keep
not
the failure in.
I have not cut out too many of our failures.
We have made a guess as to what the time of your birth
Okay,
was.
so I'm thinking it's 6 p.m.
So I actually loaded it up in the horoscope machine.
Okay, hit me.
astrocafeastrology.com. So other people can go ahead and do their scopes and send them in to me so we can do more scopes.
Okay, go ahead. Hit
Okay,
me.
so obviously you were born in October, the late October, so you are a Scorpio. Mm-hmm. Oh, God, now I have to look up, information. So everybody knows Scorpios are the giant ass liars of the.
No, we're not.
Yes, you are. You're completely a liar. Here's the thing about me and horoscopes is that I know nothing about horoscopes. I have friends who talk about horoscopes all the time and about how Aries are like this or Gemini are like that.
Newsflash. Beep 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 beep. Newsflash. 10 p.m.
What?
10 p.m. I was
10
born.
p.m.?
According to my mom, who just
According to-
texted me,
Oh,
that
shit.
jerk wouldn't pick up her phone.
Change everything.
Everything.
That's gonna change everything.
Okay, while you're doing that,
shit.
let's do
This
another.
just my bet.
Let's do another Yahoo Answers, entertainment and music and movies. Did Chewbacca ever poop in any of the Star Wars movies?
Are you serious?
Someone told me that you can see him squatting behind some bushes in Return of the Jedi. I haven't seen it. Has anybody else? Gene, have you? He's giving me this skunk eye. Don't you bring me into this? Don't you bring me into this? Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know whether or not you know this, but when you watch Star Wars: A New Hope, when you watch the director's cut, there is a 35-minute sequence where Han Solo is cutting the crap out of Chewbacca's butthole fur. You didn't see that because Marsha Lucas didn't want you to see that. The editor of the theatrical cut of Star Wars: A New Hope did not want you to see Chewbacca pooping, and it's in there. It's in there all over the place. It's. I mean, why do you think the hulls are so dirty brown in the Millennium Falcons? Did you think that wasn't? Oh, she's wrong. It was 6. God damn it, Mom.
What?
It says I'm wrong. It was 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
What time?
6 p.m.
Oh my God!
So-
This is just getting worse and worse. This is a nightmare. Now I have to freaking put it in the birthplace again and have that take 5 years to come up.
Wait, you have to do this all over again?
Now, yes, I have to go back to the beginning.
The fail is staying in. You don't remember anything that you read? Okay, I mean, I can tell you basically what I am. I am a Scorpio, which means that I am a sexed up pervert maniac and
who lies all the time.
Yes, and I am a still pool that runs deep. Blah blah blah.
And the thing about it is that I actually know more about Homestuck than I do about horoscopes. So there's a part of me that's okay, Scorpio is like Vriska.
Wow.
Which is not
4 people just popped the weirdest boner.
Yeah, 4 people. Yeah, if you know Homestuck, they pop the weirdest boner.
It involves a rusty tin bucket, as far as I know.
Oh, God, these horoscope sites all want me to talk to them about things and keep putting things up. It's God, get away from me.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously Scorpio is a water sign or whatever. The planet is Mars and Pluto.
And whatever.
Red and black, yada, yada. Apparently, according to astrology.com, it's a sign that should not be taken lightly. You're dead serious.
Hell yeah.
And you're on a mission to learn about others. Maybe yourself, maybe other people.
Maybe I'm just walking down that lonely road while the piano music plays.
You have an affinity for eights, and you
Apes?
Eights.
I love apes.
The letter 8.
Oh, beans.
That's a lie. That's a Vriska thing.
What?
You should do a Homestucker horoscope. That's what we should do.
That's
Homestucker horoscope.
This one's not staying in. No, this one's
No, you
absolutely
should
staying
keep it in Homestucker horoscope.
Homestucker horoscope. You've heard it here first. We're going to be doing the most esoteric fucking nonsense you have ever heard.
Exactly. That's that. Your moon sign is Virgo. It's a mutable Earth sign.
Wait. Okay, never mind.
I'm not sure, like, what does the moon actually have to do? Like, how does that even, like, what does the moon do with your astrology? How does the moon do the astrology? I don't how do I moon in astrology? Let's see what this site says about it. Oh, it's the ruler of Cancer. So I guess you're going to get Cancer or whatever, but it's going to be like in September. I guess it represents your deepest personal needs, our basic habits and reactions, and our unconscious, according to cafeastrology.com.
Okay.
And let's see. It's a sign of service. Virgo is a sign of service. So you want to nurture people, put them to your bosom like a mother, and love them and hold them.
I have completely fucking blanked out. What?
That's what it says. You want to love and hug people. That's just in your innate nature.
Yeah, okay. I mean, no, I can see that. No, I mean, now normally if I'm hugging them, it's because I want to check to see if they're dead so that I can eat their flesh. But
Oh, okay then. Okay.
eat my flesh, Ann.
I don't.
I'm not gonna. I'm clinging tenaciously to that.
What, to eating your? Oh God. We're
Gotcha.
gonna come back to this. I don't want to talk
Call
about
back.
that. Call back.
Call back.
See, like, and I like know all about any of this. Like, apparently Mercury also. Your Mercury is in boop. What is this? Your Mercury is in Libra.
I thought it was in the House of Pancakes.
It's not the House of Pancakes anymore. Didn't you know that? It's House of Burgers. Where have you been?
Are they still doing that?
I don't know. I haven't deep dived on IHOP recently.
No, speaking of deep diving, though, if you ever really want to get some sort of a strange thrill out of your life, go to the Taco Bell website. Go to the Taco Bell website. I'm not kidding you.
But God damn it, Scott, we have to get back to Mercury, which Mercury, I guess, deals in communication.
Uh-huh.
So Libra people are all about justice. And so this could actually be, Homestuck or horoscope, this goes for both Homestuck and horoscope, all about justice.
Okay.
Super.
Justice.
So you're just like when you're communicating.
Justice.
Yeah, that's basically you when you're talking about communication.
Okay.
You're just about justice all the time, every day.
Sorry, I've got a bit of a snotty nose.
Well, we all do. It's freaking February in Michigan. Nobody even deals with it. Nobody's even going to get into it. You want to do any there's so many things on this thing. Like, what does all of this according to this? Your zodiac is tropical, so I guess that's a plus for you.
Yeah.
And then it's got this whole other thing over here that says Placidus orb. And then it's got like a little pokey, and then the 0. I don't know what that means. Your Placidus orb is at 0. So I guess that's a win for you, maybe? Unless it's good.
Wait, I mean, unless that's if that's golf, then that's a miraculous score. And if that's poker, then I think I'm going home without my pants.
I don't know anything about golf or poker, so you could be lying to me and I don't know at all. Your Venus is in Virgo. So
my Venus is in Virgo? What?
And I don't know if Venus is about sex or if it's about beauty. Because you know what? I'm going to refuse to look this up because I'm just going to do whatever I feel is right. So your Venus is she's got it. Yeah, baby, she's got it. But it's also virginal. Mars, I suppose, is also probably about sex and about how you fight and crap.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, that sounds like a solid.
That's
Sounds like a solid piece of information.
So I should be armed with a hammer. I don't know where the hell. I completely have checked out. I really have no.
Well, your Mars is in Cancer, Scott. So I mean, if we're going by Homestuck, then
I thought my Mars was in diabetes.
Your Mars is in Cancer, and if we're going by Homestuck, that means you're just going to yell a lot and be really ineffectual and a shitty fighter. Which I just called out Carcat Vantas, and nobody else but me and 5 other Homestucks are going to get that joke. But it's funny. It's funny if you read Homestuck.
Sure, let's get out our dictionaries. Let's check our glossary of terms. Let's figure out if it's hilarious, and we'll get back with you after we've written a book report. That's fantastic.
Please do write a book report for me.
Okay, so if you don't know, if you've ever been to TacoBell.com, I don't know why I'm talking about this right now, but
Because you don't want to
seriously,
talk about
100%, because I'm so uncomfortable with having somebody read my star sign because it's all just mystical, magical fucking horse shit.
Yeah, well, you're
nothing.
going to get cancer in your fists because you're not reading. You're not like letting me deep dive on this, Scott.
I have no idea what any of that means except that some people are gullible and that the relative position of the stars and planets and moons and shit has absolutely no bearing on my life whatsoever.
They all got numbers down here that
Does
I
it
just
say
discovered.
that I'm a 100% skeptical and a rational empiricist and that I don't believe any of this
Listen,
horse shit fucking nonsense?
It's got like this cute little freaking list, and it says masculine 5, feminine 5. So you are just like
I'm half and half.
you're half and half.
Well, that
which
makes
is amazing
sense.
for you,
Right?
Cardinal is 4. Don't know what that means.
Well,
Fixed is 3. Also don't know what that means. So
Cardinal, it means that if I ever go to the Vatican, then I got one of those snapper hats waiting for me.
yeah, but you only have you're like maybe like
I have 3 of them.
you have 4 of them.
I've got 4 snapper hats
You've
waiting
got
for
4
me.
snapper hats waiting for you. The Pope is very, very pleased. Your fixed is 3. Your mutable is 3. So,
And now I get
guess
to
you can
roll
do-
a 20-sided die for my charisma.
Your mutable, you've got some transmutation circles that you can use. You can use 3 whole transmutation circles. So good for you.
And one of them is unfortunately human transmutation, which means
Yeah,
I get to turn
bummer
my
for you,
mom into a
man.
gelatinous screaming mass.
Oh, good for you, dude.
That's a Full Metal Alchemist joke for our one listener that
No,
just
there's
pops the
probably more
incredibly
people who
weird
watch
boner.
Full Metal Alchemist than have read Homestuck. Believe me, the number of times I've tried to get people to read that webcomic and nobody has. I'm very upset about it. Let's not talk about that anymore because your fire signs are 3, your earth is 2, your air is 2, your water is 3.
Am I a metal bender?
I would say not because your earth is only 2.
Well, god damn it, then what's the point in living?
And I guess you fire and water have to fight it out for top billing.
Well, but who's next in the Avatar cycle?
But, if you have fire and water together, you can do antipode, and that's a Chrono Trigger joke. For those of you who played the mid-90s RPG Chrono Trigger.
This has been the evening of esoteric references.
Good luck anybody
good
finding
luck.
any of this
Congratulations. A, we're old because we talk about shit from the 90s, and B,
God, there's so much shit on here.
Yeah,
There's so much shit on this freaking thing.
there's so
What
much
does
shit
this
on the
all
Taco
mean?
Bell website. Absolutely every food item
I
on
don't
the
talk about the Taco Bell
on the
site.
menu comes with a little essay. A lot of things are okay to be questioned. What's not okay to be questioned is the cheesy potato griller. Seriously, though. You ever wonder why certain things are called their given name? Have you ever questioned them? We kind of take it, accept it, and go on with our lives.
Like, I don't want to get wet
Like
with my
potatoes.
thoughts when I'm thinking about Taco Bell. Like, I'm sorry. I just, you don't get Taco Bell because you're a deep person. You get Taco Bell at 3 a.m. because you don't have any other choice. Because you hate yourself.
It's because you think that Jesus Christ can't see your sins. And
Jesus can see your sins. He
Jesus
knows.
can see your sins.
He
Jesus
saw you that
knows.
time when you were drunk at 3 a.m. at the Taco Bell drive-thru. He
screaming
knows.
into the speaker that you just wanted that one thing that you had that one time, and God damn it, why they can't give that to you? That you just want the McDLT, you just want
And if
it.
you're
They've got
asking for the
everything in there that
McDLT
can
at
make the
Taco
McDLT.
Bell, you've got more problems than we can help you with.
They've got everything back there. All you've got to do is stick it.
What is a McDLT anyway? You complete. What the hell is that?
You don't remember the McDLT?
What is the?
Oh my God! We have our next topic for the next 9 minutes. And the McDLT was this awesome burger that you could get where you had the hot stuff on one half of this clamshell container, and the cold stuff like
God, I
the
do
bun,
remember that
the
now.
mayonnaise, the lettuce,
for
and the
making me
tomato,
remember that.
and you flipped them together. So instead of getting one hot
stop
sandwich,
describing
you
the
had a
stupid
hot
sandwich.
slab of beef with all of those cool, tasty condiments on the other side. That just
I remember that now. That was one of the stupidest things. Like, there's a lot of dumb things that McDonald's did.
Take it.
The Mac the Night campaign being one of them.
Oh my God.
You remember that one?
I absolutely do. I absolutely
was a
do. And
nightmare.
it still makes me angry. There are a lot of things from the 80s that make me angry. Are there things from the 80s that make you angry? Ann?
There's things from the 80s/90s that make me angry. And
The
there are
last
things,
couple of minutes that we have, we're going to start a new bit called
things I'm still mad about.
Awesome.
So, I've been in discussions about this particular bit for a really long time, mostly because
Our lawyers have finally okayed it.
you guys are great. No, because it was all kicked off by somebody, my brother, you, by the way, for doing this. He sent me a video of the opening credit sequence to a late 80s, early 90s children's television show that was on PBS called Zoobilee Zoo, which is
Zoobilee
don't
Zoo.
you fucking dare! Oh my God, I will kill you. I hate you. I hate you so much. I want to talk about this, and I just get mad, and I just have a
We're gonna
freaking
go over.
stroke. The last episode of the show,
And some 90s
is
kids
me
that just popped
having
in
a-
another incredibly weird boner.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, but it was this late 80s, early 90s children's show that was like edutainment that they did on PBS, and the conceit is Zoobilee Zoo took place in some sort of, I don't know if it was a zoo, if it was supposed to be some sort of like town or world or sort of some sort of like horror dimension.
Well, no,
I
there was
don't know.
a mayor. So
Yeah.
there was a town. It was
Yeah.
it was some sort of an
And it was-
incorporated township.
And it was full of animals who, taught you valuable lessons. And they all, had different interests that, were specific to them. And obviously Mayor Ben was played by Ben Vereen. And in the opening credits song, they talked about he was there to lend a helping hand. But really what Mayor Ben was there to do, because they didn't have Ben Vereen money for like a whole episode Ben Vereen money. Ben Vereen was there in the beginning and the end of the episode to tell you about what you were going to be learning that day. And then, of course, at the end, wrap up so, the kids could understand the lesson that they were supposed to impart with that episode. So there's that one. And then they had Van Gogh Lion, who was to me the most tolerable Zooble, which is what they were called. Zoobilee Zoo. They were Zoobles. And he was a lion, obviously. And he was a painter, also obviously, because his name was Van Gogh. And there was Builder Beaver, who was one of the most forgettable. He built stuff, so, I mean, there's that. And then, God, who else? There was Bravo the Fox.
Yeah,
was-
well,
was he the fox?
you're getting deep
A
in.
fox? Well, hey, if we're going to get deep in about this, I have to freaking talk about everything. Now, the thing about Bravo the Fox, I hated him.
Okay.
Not as much as I hated other Zoobles. I did hate him. The actor was apparently attempting to do an Ed Gwynn impression. He did it badly, and he just sounded like,
Ed Gein.
whoa, boy. That'd be a very different show. There's another one. I'd be interested to see that show. That'd be an interesting take.
I'm going to wear
No, but
skin like a dress.
He was into theater, and he just basically sounded like a really bad gay stereotype.
He kind of sounded like Snagglepuss.
Yeah.
Exit, stage left, don't you know?
I think he was trying to go for Ed Gwynn, but ended up sounding like a really terrible Snagglepuss. God, who else? There was Talkachoo Cockachoo, who
Let's get to why did this piss you off?
I'm getting there. I'm talking about it right now. Are you kidding me?
So
I
the
was
whole
just getting
thing-
into the
wait,
meat of
The
it.
fact that you're so infuriated does not.
Just let me work out my thoughts about it. I'm getting attacked. You interrupted me in the middle of talking about Talkachoo Cockachoo. How dare you, first of all? I wanted to strangle her with stockings, dude. I hated her.
And some furry right now just popped a really weird
I know,
boner.
they probably did too. And there's like several things about Talkachoo Cockachoo that really bothered me. Like, first of all, her name.
Okay.
Secondly, the actress who played her. Thirdly, her performance. Because she obviously, she was like, attempting to do like the whole bird bit or whatever. So it's like, and I couldn't stand that. But the other thing is, she's supposed to be a cockatoo, right? She's Talkachoo Cockatoo. That's her freaking name, right, dude? Except her color
was
and
her
her pattern
job, too.
Her
She
color
just
and
talked.
her color and her patterning was apparent. She was green and red like a friggin' macaw, but she was called Cockatoo Cockatoo. That's not what a cockatoo looks like. You've never seen one. Have you never seen a cockatoo? And I guess she was a journalist or whatever. At this point, I don't care because I just wanted to strangle her with rope. She was so
like a
annoying.
dollar store Rita Skeeter.
Oh, God. I would have rather had Rita Skeeter. Oh, gosh. She would have been better. 100% better. And then we get into the disturbing selection. God, what was the name of that kangaroo? I can't remember the name of the kangaroo.
I don't remember.
Now I have to look up Zoobly Zoo because I can't remember the name of the stupid freaking kangaroo because I just
Bill Versace was his name.
Bill
Versace. That's why I can't stop thinking about Bill Versace.
But like I got too much in the weeds with Cockatoo Cockatoo. I'm so sorry. Okay, so the kangaroo was What's That Kangaroo? And she was in the disturbing spectrum of Zoobly Zoo because she was the only Zooble who had a form-fitting costume, besides Mayor Ben, but you only saw him, and it wasn't really like sexualized or anything. You only saw him at the beginning or the end.
So what you're saying is she had boobies.
It wasn't just the fact that she had
like
boobies.
childbearing hips.
Yeah, she was very, very visible, a very beautiful young lady. And she was coded in the show as being a child. And the fact that she wore bippy tops and consistently she was like, her whole thing was like dance and music. So she consistently did a lot of dance moves. And it was just like, it wasn't overtly sexualized, but it kind of was at the same time. So there was a real ew factor with her particular character for me. Like I would just watch that and go, this is what pervert came up with this.
Yeah, it's obviously made by a pervert.
Yeah,
it's obviously made by a pervert.
It's made by a ton of perverts.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like the first time that you go see Cats and you suddenly realize that something has awoken inside of you.
But like Cats is supposed to be sexy. This is not supposed to be sexy. This is a children's television show.
I always liked actually sitting in like the first few rows because when the cats come down and dance, they would sometimes sit on your lap, and I do have to admit,
is
because it's not the cat part of it; it's the
me.
dancer part of it. It's the dancer underneath the cat costume.
Listen, we're getting
rear end in your
I don't
face.
want to think about you wanting to the rum-tum tugger because that's not what I'm here for right now. What I'm here for right now is to talk about how much I wanted to kill Lookout Bear. The character and the actor that played him, I fucking hate him so much.
Well, okay,
He was like an adventurer. He was also the other child-coded one, but obviously because he's a boy, he didn't get to be sexy, which unfair.
Again, I mean, yeah,
that was gross.
He
I'm sorry.
expressed sort of some of those like masculinized.
Yeah, he enjoyed adventuring and travel.
Adventuring.
And
I like it.
everything about him. I like challenge. Somebody go out. You look up.
Don't.
Lookout Bear.
I'm begging you. Don't
I
look
just
up any
wanna
of this stuff.
punch him.
This entire
I
episode
wanna
has been a dire and stark warning to everybody who listens.
No, you go look up Zoobly Zoo and you see what the nightmare.
Don't look up Zoobly Zoo. Don't. We've been there. We stared into the face of the Cthulhu and nightmare.
So
like
I hated this fucking show. I hated this show so much.
But
my brother and sister, because they're so much younger than I am, 12 and 14 years respectively younger than me. So obviously they were at the age during this time to watch the show, and they watched it a lot, especially during summer breaks. And I was a very tired teenager, and they would watch the show at full volume, and I would wake up to it. A lot of people back in the day complained a lot about Barney. Listen, I don't give a shit about Barney. I think Barney is innocuous. I never had a problem with Barney other than the fact that my brother and sister played it at like full volume in the morning and woke me up. That was the only thing that Barney bothered me by. He was a big dumb dinosaur who just wanted to teach you your ABCs and how to be nice to each other, and he jumped around a lot. I have no problems with Barney. I have problems with Zoobly Zoo. I can't stand the show. I couldn't stand it then. I can't stand it now. I hate it so much. I hate it.
However, there is one small gold and silver lining.
No, there's no gold and silver lining in that.
Is that one of the actors in
It actually
Zoobly
ruined
Zoo
it for me.
jumped ship
Yeah.
to be the voice of
Yeah.
Rio in Gem.
And I didn't find this out.
His cast.
I didn't find out until my brother had sent that to me, and then I just started thinking about how much I hated the show, and of course, then I had to go to Wikipedia and read about it. And
You're just going down to that. You just wiki hopping, and 6 hours later.
6 hours later, I'm just infuriated,
bleary-eyed,
reading
and
everything.
hostile.
Yeah, reading everything I can about Zoobly Zoo and the production of this horrible children's television show that I hated when I was a teenager.
And you now know more than people who honest to God
And that's
worked
how I
on
found out that the original person who played Builder Beaver jumped ship to play Rio on my favorite show when I was that age, Gem.
Jam.
And so now it's ruined Gem for me because all I can think about is that is the guy who originally played Builder Beaver.
Well, I think that's
was
just
that
not going to
dude.
wrap it up for us today. I do want to leave you with one final question
Oh, God.
from Yahoo. Do staring at and picture of sun makes me blind? This has been Why Don't We Have Our Own Show? I'm Scott. This is Ann. Patreon, check us out. WKTV, thank you so much for hosting this Ding Dong podcast.
Make sure you stare at the picture of the sun to go blind. Idiot.